Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one, I wanted to talk about Dead City, and I actually wanted to get into something that Jeffrey Dean Morgan mentioned, and it's also been sort of a question that we've sort of had about the spinoff. It's something we haven't really talked about a lot lately. I mean, I guess we talked about it a little bit with when he first made these comments, but we mostly talked about this when the character was first introduced, because we were kind of wondering what the point was of the character, considering it really seemed like this character was likely going to die, but she never did. Considering she's not in the spinoff, what's happening here, right? So I want to get into all that. So before going any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. And if you haven't followed me on Twitch, definitely go do so. My channel name is @AppetiteForTheDead. Yeah, the question we have right now is Annie dead right now? As of when the Dead City story picks up, did she die? And also, there seems to be this sort of mysterious backstory to Negan sort of in general. So the first thing we should do actually is just sort of get into the response and like read exactly what he said about it. And I'm getting this here from @TWalkingDWorld on Twitter. I'll leave a link down below. Definitely go give the account a follow. The last part here says what that means for his wife Annie, last seen pregnant with Negan's child, remains unclear, but it certainly doesn't bode well. As Morgan notes, he's not with his family, so some bleep has happened. So obviously that's the setup here, right? Like he's not with his family anymore, something has happened, and it's interesting because when you look at the trailer, like it really does seem like he's been on his own for a very long time. Like they don't make it seem like this just happened, or the one thing too is there's no mention of them being in danger. Like Negan in general seems so relaxed or like at peace or just like, I don't know, there's no rush. Again, if they were in danger, if they were like taken away or something like that, like Herschel, then he would be in that position where he's like, well, I have to go and find them, and he would just be constantly searching for them, right? But he's not in that position. He's just sort of hanging around doing whatever, and he even has time to go and help Maggie find Herschel. So whatever has happened with him and his family, it really seems like there's like this more definitive situation that has occurred. It's either a separation or it's a death. And that's why he's sort of okay with just like being out there on his own and doing whatever. And so that's the question I have for you guys. Do you think she died, or do you think her and Negan just separated? Because as of now, it's hard to say, because again, when she was first introduced, it was very off. Like a lot of us immediately were like, that's weird. Like out of nowhere, he's apparently married and she's pregnant as well. Like it just happened so fast. It was within like what, 6 months? Because they did a 6-month time jump between episode 9 and 10. And by the time you saw him again, it was so much that everyone thought, well, they're clearly setting up her death here in the final season. And I really feel like they could have done something like that in the episode where Negan was like on his knees and you had the CRM there in Alexandria. They were going to take him out there. And I really felt like with the tension that was built in that moment, I think you could have done something really amazing there. And not even that, it could have been some sort of, I don't know, mirrored story with Maggie, if you consider the fact that like Negan being on his knees, just like Negan used to make other people do, right? When he would Lucille them. Like it would be so insane, because Negan would have lost his wife and his child, and I think Maggie would have felt bad for him. And I think it could have made those two characters a little bit closer. And I don't know if it would have made them friends or anything like that. Obviously not. There's things that are more complex there, but Negan in that sense would have gotten a taste of his own medicine, right? And it's brutal. It would have been a really crazy scene. But that's sort of what we all thought. Like, that's why the character was introduced. They're doing something here to really, really destroy Negan, because there's no way he can be this happy. The storyline came out of nowhere. But the show ended, and, you know, she's still fine. Like, I don't really know what happened to her. There was really no mention, or maybe I'm not remembering it, but there's no mention of what happened to her. Negan just sort of walked off afterwards, after everything was over, and that was basically it. Fast forward to the spinoff, and we got the official trailer out now, and there's no mention of her. Like there seems to be literally nothing there. And so the question of like, why was she introduced is still there. You know, I really feel like at this point she was introduced just because they really wanted to have some newer characters. I don't have an issue with Annie as a character. I actually do really like her as a character. Like, she's a very grounded, down-to-earth person, and she actually does have a lot of like stage presence. Like, she could really hold her own in a scene. I just think the issue is just with how she was introduced. It just kind of happened out of nowhere. And I have the same issues with Leah as well. Like Leah, I mean, it's a little different because we do see how Daryl runs into Leah, but still, like the point of that character really, I feel like was kind of pointless because she died right away. I don't know. I thought they could have did a lot more there. And with Annie, she's not quite there yet. You know, with Leah, I would say definitely overall that story kind of felt pointless. With Annie, not quite yet. You know, she could still serve a bigger purpose here. It's just, again, she's not in the spinoff. So I'm so confused on the whole thing. Like, I hope she does show up in the spinoff because then it just makes her introduction, you know, matter. And normally I wouldn't care so much. Like if they were just sort of background characters, I might point out here and there that like, oh, this makes no sense. Sort of like the Highwaymen. You know, the Highwaymen, I thought they were going to be this really cool addition to the group, but no, you can totally see the writing in that scene. Like they were just introduced to have more heads on the pikes, right? So I have big issues with that, but I want Annie to matter more to the story here. And it's just really weird that she's not in the spinoff when they made such a big deal in introducing her in the final season. And just maybe it's a season 2 thing, you know, that's very possible. Like maybe they do want us to have some questions. Maybe they do want to leave some surprises there. Like I could totally see that. It's just when you read Jeffrey Dean Morgan's response to it, it's interesting because like it really does mean that they either separated or she died. And if she died, is Negan's whole family dead? Like what happened there? I'm really wondering because they did hint at there being some problems and stuff like that during her pregnancy. So maybe there's something there, but like that's the thing. Would you be okay if she died off screen? Like, is that something that fans would be okay with? I don't know if I'd be okay with that. Like, depends on the explanation. It depends on what happens. Maybe they could do a flashback or something. But because they introduced her and she was such a big character on the show, to kill her off screen would just feel so awkward and weird. Like, yeah, you could explain it away in just like some dialogue, but it's still a little off. Like people are going to have questions about that. So what do I think happened overall? Do I think Annie died or do I think she's just separated from Negan? I would have to say that I'm leaning more towards a separation. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know, there was some issues that she was having there, I think, with her pregnancy, right? Like there was some stuff that was coming up. And so maybe that was a hint at what was to come. So I think that could happen. Do I think she was like killed or Negan's whole family was killed by some random group or something crazy happened like that? No, I don't see that happening. So I think either something happened during just the pregnancy or they're just separated right now and he's just sort of been living on his own, living out there, just doing whatever right now. And maybe he's done some really bad things and so he's trying to make it up to her. I have no idea what the story is going to be, obviously. And I'm intrigued. Like, I really am intrigued in what the explanation is going to be here. Yeah, we're going to have to wait a little over 3 weeks to find out. 3 weeks and like, what, 3 days or something like that. Actually, I believe the premiere is airing like a couple of days earlier on the Thursday. So I'll likely have my review then. So we only have to wait another 3 more weeks, which is very, very exciting. And that also reminds me, Fear the Walking Dead, I'll have my review out for that later on today. I haven't watched the episode yet. I'm going to be watching it in the next like hour or so. And then I'll post my review later on today. And then we'll see about a trailer breakdown. I might save that until, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to release a lot of that because I wouldn't mind posting my reviews and stuff on Thursday just because there's some excitement there for that. But I also really enjoyed releasing my review and trailer breakdown last Sunday. It just felt really nice because everyone watched the episode at that point. So I might do something more like that, or maybe I still will do my reviews and all that stuff on Thursday, but on the Sunday, I'll just do something else for the release of the episode. I'm going to figure it out. But for today, I will be doing my review for episode 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. I'm really hyped to watch this episode. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video and definitely answer the question of what do you think happened to Annie? Do you think her and Negan just separated or do you think she died? Post your thoughts down below. We have exactly 24 days until Dead City premieres, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, I'm really hyped for this show. I think more than I've been for these shows for quite a while, honestly. Like I would say with The Walking Dead, I was very, very hyped for the premiere of season 11. For part 2, I was also excited because of some of the Commonwealth stuff. For part 3, I got a lot more hyped. But the last time I was this hyped, I would say would be, I mean, if I'm really looking back at it, now that I can sort of judge the last like couple of seasons, I would say going into the second half of season 9, because that was a lot of fun. Like we just learned of the Whisperers. We were sort of getting into that arc a little bit. I was really wondering if we were going to see Alpha in that episode and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's been quite a while. I haven't been this excited in a while. So yeah, anyways, post your thoughts down below. Definitely go follow me on Twitch if you haven't yet. The channel name is Appetite for the Dead. The link should be in the description of this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.